And so I watched all the things, and it was pretty much a normal part of our life, right? Well, pre-plexus, I was diagnosed with pre-diabetes, which terrified me because I had watched all the things with my mom. And then to make matters worse, 3 years in to my plexus journey, my little boy who was 7 at the time was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And so to say um, that this has been a major part of my life would be an understatement. And when your child gets sick with a chronic illness, I don't know a mom alive who isn't going to do everything that she can to figure out how to make things better. And so I'm going to tell you right now, um, diabetes is a bugger. It is a bugger because, like with my son, there's no vacation. There's never a day where you can just decide, oh, you know what? I don't feel like having diabetes today. I don't feel like, uh, for me as a mom, I don't feel like checking his blood sugar in the middle of the night just to make sure he's okay. That's never, ever an option. And I can tell you, like, very, very early on, like, just learning how to make food and to figure out how to give him food appropriately that wouldn't make his body sick was terrifying to me. So once all of that terrifying kind of haze started to shake itself off, well, that's good with the song, right? Um, I started to go into research mode. And remember, I had been doing Plexus for about 3 years, and I had seen that it had helped me in tremendous ways. I had started learning about the products and what they do for core areas of health because I'm a nerdy birdie. I like to learn. I'm infatuated with learning. That's how God wired me. And so I started to think, you know what? This does so much for me. I want to learn more about, is this something that could help him? Um, Now, knowing I wasn't looking for a cure for type 1 diabetes, that's only going to come from God. Um, but I was looking for, how do we stave off other autoimmune conditions stacking on top? Because that's a thing. And I want you to know type 1 and type 2, it's a little different. Type 1 is an autoimmune condition where your own body attacks your pancreas and stops the cells that create insulin. Type 2 is a metabolic disorder where your body no longer recognizes insulin to allow blood sugar to be brought into the cell. Type 1, there's no cure for. Type 2, Type 2 and insulin resistance, there's a lot of things that can be done, and even in many cases to reverse the condition with diet and exercise and some pretty awesome supplementation. So that's a really, really good thing. So what I'm going to do, Jayla, is it okay if I put on my nerdy birdie hat, okay, and walk you through some of like my family's favorite products, really in terms of what they do for Hayden, okay? They're going to be a little off label here. So you might want to take notes because you're not just going to look at your bag or your bottle and ascertain or discern what I'm saying, okay? But you can always check me out. You can always double check what I'm saying. In fact, I encourage you to do so. So I'm going to grab my notes first, and then I'm going to try my very best to move us along quickly, because we've got some other great folks to listen to. So the first thing that I want us to talk about, everybody's favorite, Slim. All right, so here's the deal. Do you guys think I care one whit about like my son getting skinny? No, I don't care. I don't care. That's not why I utilize this product for my little boy. Okay. What first, what you should know for type 2 diabetics, this is your jam. This was actually made and it was created, designed for type 2 diabetics. And what the researchers found is they had such phenomenal results with type 2 diabetes that then they opened it up and started providing it for regular average people as well. So for me, okay, blood sugar regulation, it definitely can help that. I don't notice that so much for Hayden, but I notice that for myself, okay? Remember, he's type 1. What I notice for Hayden is what you can't see on the outside. What you know on the inside is uh, there's something called alpha lipoic acid. All right. So what you need to know about that is it's an anti-inflammatory. And you need to know that, again, autoimmune conditions feed off of inflammation. All right. So that's a big deal. I want to decrease inflammation. If you're looking as an adult at other products that are going to do that for you, think Plexus Ease. Okay. The other thing about alpha lipoic acid is detoxification. Diabetics have a very hard time detoxifying their body. That's because there's something that our bodies make that's called glutathione, right? It's one of the most powerful detoxifying antioxidants that the body can make, and diabetics don't make it very well. Thus, they don't detoxify. Why is that a problem? Because if you don't detoxify well, you're prone to hormonal imbalances, obesity, brain fog, memory loss, metabolic syndrome as in type 2 diabetes, sleep disturbances, and things with rising cancer rates. It's a big, big, big deal, detoxification. So that's the alpha lipoic acid. That's just one of the really great ingredients in the Slim. Let's move on. Gut health. Whew. Why do I care about gut health for my son? One, because poor blood sugar regulation, if his blood sugars are running high on any given day, what happens when you bake bread? Maybe you have a grandma who used to bake homemade bread, and she would put yeast in a little bowl, right? And she would add sugar to the yeast, and that would make the yeast grow. Well, that's your intestines are an oven. They are very hot. And if you have yeast and you add a lot of sugar in your intestine, you are going to have an overgrowth of bad gut bacteria and candida yeast that is going to make your gut very, very sick and is going to make you very, very sick. It's going to make you have a poor immune system. It's going to make you have things like food intolerances. It's going to cause all sorts of gastrointestinal nastiness. It's going to create that climate for autoimmune inflammation. It's bad. It's very, very bad, right? So we don't want that. So that's one of the reasons, right, we're going to use ProBio 5. So people ask me, and yes, I use ProBio 5 for my little kid because I want what this does to kill off the nastiness. Okay. Now, when he was little and couldn't swallow pills, I just opened one right on up and put it right in some yogurt, put it right in, and he didn't even notice, and it was just fine. Okay. Whew, BioCleanse. So that's going to be the companion to help eliminate all the garbage out of your gut, right? But also magnesium, you guys. Whew. Magnesium is really important for diabetics. Why? Because it regulates blood sugar. Did you know that? Magnesium regulates blood sugar. Low levels of magnesium are linked to insulin resistance. And insulin resistance is a major problem, undiagnosed, for a massive portion of Americans. BioCleanse is our best friend. Moving on. Taking notes? Okay. Okay. Now this is one.
For 1 second, can I just
Yeah.
say, all right, we're already winning. We're talking about a 3-step system, simple, but y'all, it gets better. Keep listening.
Here we go. So first of all, I have to say, this is promoted as a clean energy drink. I can't keep this in my home for very long because every single family member, husband included, my other son, everyone fights over Active because it tastes good and because it makes us feel good. And there's so many, but we're going to go off label again, okay, for diabetics. So one of the reasons we love Active for Hayden is because one really important reason, it oxygenates blood cells. Well, what in the world? Why do we care about that? I hope if you're in the world of diabetes, that like makes you go, ding, ding, ding. Oxygenated blood cells. One, because again, it decreases insulin resistance. That's one. Two, it helps with blood flow. One of the holy terrors of people who struggle with uncontrolled blood sugar is that they get a wound on their feet, especially. Because one of the major scares is amputation, because there's a lack of blood flow, right, to the extremities. And so healing doesn't happen as well. So when we oxygenate our blood flow, we know that we are going to have better wound healing. You think that's important? It absolutely is important. It even helps with things like diabetic neuropathy, where there's damage to the nerves in the eyes, in the hands, in the feet. As a side, if that's an issue, look into plexus nerve as an adult. All right. Last but not least, moving on. The other product that my family loves, Plexus Lean. So I love Plexus Lean because, like I said, when Hayden was diagnosed, cooking was scary. There was a point in time where I just had complete overwhelm about making meals because I didn't know how, like, what was going to happen with his blood sugar, and it was just really scary. And so I was making everything from scratch. I was spending a lot of time doing low carb baking and all sorts of things so he could have like normal food. Plexus Lean was the thing that when we needed grab and go convenience, that I could feel good with him eating. He loves it. It's delicious and creamy. Your kids, you're not going to be able to keep it on hand. The other thing about it, oh my gosh, you guys, just read some. If you have it, read the back of the label and pay attention to all of the wonderful ingredients. Especially pay attention. There's folate in the methylated form, B12 in the methylated form. Why is that important? Last but not least, again, it's important for detoxification. Many people cannot detox things like folic acid. So when you have folate, your body can detoxify it. I already explained why that's important for diabetics. It's also necessary for healthy nervous systems, our brain, our nerves, right? And it's healthy for healthy blood cells. And a lack of it, you guys, is bad news. It's connected to heart disease, neuropathy, stroke, depression, memory loss, dementia, fatigue, weight loss issues, constipation. So we absolutely want to make sure that our diabetics are not low on B12. Okay? So that just gives you a snapshot. I mean, we could go on and on because there's really not a product that Plexus has that is not made for this chronic and very difficult condition. All right, so that's a nutshell. But now I want to zip it because I want to hear Wendy, I want to hear Patrick's story and Wendy. All right?
Let me unmute. So do you want to introduce them, Rachel?
Well, yeah. So we have our friends from my team. This is Wendy Hogan and her husband Patrick. And hey guys. And they were so gracious to join us tonight and share a bit of their story. And I think you're going to be blown away because I know that I was.
Yes, and y'all share some love in the comments. I want to see some interaction. You guys are way too quiet down there. Let's see.
Well, I gave them a lot of information, so maybe they're taking notes.
They were writing, I could tell. Okay, so Wendy and Patrick, would y'all share, how did y'all even get started? What happened?
Well, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I started my mom on Plexus a few years ago for diabetes, and it dropped her A1C within 6 months. And she changed her eating habits a little bit, but not a huge amount. She was pretty hardcore. And it got her down into the 7s and 8s. And she was on Plexus until she passed away last June. And I didn't really think I needed the products. I was like, I'm not, I don't need them. They're for diabetics. I'm just, I wasn't where I thought I needed them. So it wasn't until I had COVID in August and I got so sick and so just drug down for weeks on end. And I had some product left over from mom. I still had the membership because I made sure she took those until she passed
religiously.
away. Yes, it was very important because I knew what they did for her. And even the nerve and the ease, I had experimented a little bit with those with her. So I knew what they did for her. And so I started taking her leftover products. And within 2 weeks of starting back on the Slim, I felt like the COVID was gone, normal me again, finally. And it was about 2-3 weeks later that we went to the doctor. And Pat?
No, it was quite a while. I mean, I was going for about 4 or 5 months where I just couldn't get enough to drink. I was losing weight ridiculously fast. And I had already changed my eating habits. So I thought it was my diet that was working. And I was wrong, very wrong. But yeah, so I was having symptoms. I was like forgetting my driving directions and going to the wrong site and delivering 48,000 pounds of feed to the wrong place, causing problems at work. And it's like, I am not this stupid. Something is wrong. So Wendy made an appointment for me for a wellness check. And she said, you're going to tell the doctor about all your symptoms and you're going to tell her what's going on. All right, fine. So I did a full 12-hour fast before my doctor's appointment. And, I told her and she immediately ordered a blood draw and sent me home. Well, I hadn't eaten anything in that 12 hours. So on the way home, I stopped at the gas station, got a hot sandwich, a jelly-filled donut, and a cup of coffee with extra sugar because gas station coffee needs more sugar. And I got home. About a half an hour later, the doctor's office called me and the nurse is just screaming in my ear, you're diabetic. Your blood sugar is 485 and your A1C is 11.8. And I was just like, okay, I don't know what the A1C means, but I'm pretty sure 485 is bad. And Wendy jumped up. She grabbed the blood glucose meter from her mom. And yeah, I was well over 500. And
that's dangerous, you guys.
Yeah,
that's very dangerous.
And I've had that
for people who don't know. Like normal blood sugar is 100. Normal A1Cs are in the 5s. So go on. I just want them to know that's bad.
Yeah, that's ridiculously bad. So right away I knew, carbohydrates they turn into sugars, and sugar is just, you might as well be pumping it right in there. And I jumped up and I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I'm a truck driver. If I'm on insulin, I lose my interstate driving privileges. So part of our retirement plan includes that. So I was ordered 10 cc's to start with the Novolog, and I had to go see the doctor in a week. Well, we had problems with the insurance company, and it took about 4 days for them to actually figure out. And it's like, a guy could be dying in that 4 days, if he didn't know any better. But I completely cut out my carbs. I reduced my sugar down to just what's in my coffee, and we kept a close eye on my blood sugar. I got it down to about 250. And about the third day, I cut sugar out of my coffee, and that was a very, very hard thing to do. And it stayed about 250. And Wendy said, drink this pink drink. I had known about it, and she gave me this cup full of pills. She said, take these and, just try it. I said, fine, I will, And the next day, I took my blood sugar in the morning. It was at 190. I took another pink drink, took some more pills that she gave me for morning pills. And by like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I was down to 140. And I kept it there till my next doctor's appointment. And we wrote all the numbers down and the time and numbers. And we took him into the doctor, and she said, okay, well, and I told her I didn't take any of the insulin. I said, because of what I'm doing, if I take insulin, it might have a bad reaction. And I was afraid of that. She said, no, you made the right call. If you're going to do it this way, no insulin. Thank you.
Yeah, we were scared it was going to drop too far.
Yeah. And then I'd have to
it.
eat some sugar, and then I'm playing this yo-yo game. So she took me off the insulin and put me on metformin and Jardiance, and then said, come see me in 3 months. 3 months later, I go in there, and mind you, I had no sugar, very, very minimal carbs, and I'm taking my metformin and my Jardiance as instructed. I go in and get my A1C checked again, and it's down to 5.8 or 5.7. 5.8. And she actually told me she wanted me to put sugar back in my diet. I was like, that's not going to happen. I'm on a mission to get off all medications, and I know it's manageable and it's reversible, and that's my mission. And I believe with Plexus, that's very possible.
Oh, this is hope, you guys. This is hope. And I do believe that there are people who are going to hear this video who need to hear this video.
But people need to understand that Plexus is not the magic pill. It's not going to erase the fact that you have to change your diet. You have to cut out your carbs. You have to cut out your sugars, and you have to find out what some carbs are okay to take because it gives you more nutrients than bad. Very minimal, like if you eat a fruit, I eat like a handful of grapes and it doesn't affect my blood sugar. But if I ate grapes like I used to, I'd be shaking and confused and sweating, and it would be a bad thing. So you gotta find your balance, and it's all about get rid of your carbohydrates and get rid of your sugar.
There are some good carbs and bad carbs. We've discovered a little. You have to experiment with it, but you have to definitely cut out the processed sugar and the processed carbs. Those are bad. And yeah, and he gets his 6-month A1C here in about a week and a half. So
that's awesome.
Yep, I'm excited to see what it's at.
And I want to clarify, right, Patrick, you have type 2?
I have type 2, yes.
Okay. So what Patrick was saying, like, again, with type 2, you can reverse it. It's work, it's effort, it's life change, for sure. Type 1 is not reversible. However, you can bring down those A1Cs through the same methodology. So this is awesome. I'm so inspired.
I'm so happy that you guys took a chance. Many people won't take a chance. Many people, especially guys, Patrick, I'm really thankful that you're sharing, because a lot of guys look at that little pink drink and they're like, that's for the ladies. It's not. It's for us all.
I really like them. I mean, every day I have my coffee with no sugar, and I take a to-go cup to work. And as soon as that cup of coffee is gone, I reach right for my pink drink. That's the first thing I drink after coffee. And I drink at least one active a day, and that's usually about that 2 o'clock slump. I work 12-hour days, so my day starts at 5 in the morning. So 2 o'clock is kind of like late afternoon to most people, but yeah.
Well, and you said something that's important.
The rest of the day.
you said something really important because some people love coffee. I am a coffee lover. I love coffee. And I don't want to know that I have to give up my coffee to have a healthy lifestyle. For me, that's a treat. I mean, it's not this massive sugary thing, but I need my coffee, not for the caffeine, but I just like it. And so I get asked that question all the time. Can I still have my coffee? Well, yes. Plexus is a tool.
I will say I've been drinking coffee since I was 7 years old. I had sugar in every cup until just a few months ago, when my doctor told me to put sugar back in my diet a little bit. And I'll put a little bit of sugar in it. I went to the gas station, put a little bit of sugar in it, and it tasted awful. I don't even want sugar in my coffee anymore.
I'm the same way.
I can't believe I used to like this.
Your body does adjust after you get rid of it for a certain amount of time. It's just kind of like the more water you drink, and then all of a sudden you start craving water.
Yeah.
And those are the great things that I love about getting healthy.
Yeah, her and I, years ago, we went. It was coffee and then straight to Pepsi and Mountain Dew all day long, and we just decided. We used to wake up body aching and everything, and it's like, well, we need to start drinking water. We agreed that we would drink our pot of coffee in the morning and go straight to water, and that's it. And yeah, body aches went away. I mean, just by eliminating that much sugar.
It's amazing how well I feel better at 49. I'm going to be 50 in 12 days. And I feel better at 49 than I did in most of my 30s. So I'm feeling good. It's awesome. I love it. Plexus for life.
Oh my goodness. Such a story of hope. You guys, if you have questions for them, drop those in the comments. If you have questions for Rachel, again, drop those in the comments. We are so thankful that you were here with us tonight because, so many people struggle with blood sugar regulation issues, whatever that might look like for you. I'm hypoglycemic. Mine looks a little differently, but we all benefit from blood sugar regulation for sure. So put those questions in the comments. And remember, we're doing 2 giveaways tonight.